Make sense? So now what that means is, so that's what you would write. They wrote it already for you. So what that means is one of these gears spins 5 times while the other one only spins 1 time. Now, here's where I'm going to have you do things a little bit different on the explanation. They wrote this whole thing. The input drive gear must turn 5 times to move the output gear or driven gear once, and torque increases. You're just going to simplify this. Believe me, watch. So first, let's figure out what increases, torque or speed. Look at rule number 2 that you just wrote down. What does rule number 2 say? It says if the first number or the output is bigger, we increase torque, right? So in this explanation box, rather than write torque increases, rather than write all that, here's what you would write. You would say T for torque goes up, which means speed goes down. Speed up, or torque up, speed down. There you go. You didn't have to write out all the words. Now, rather than write the input gear must turn 5 times to move the output gear or driven gear once, rather than write all that, we're going to write some numbers basically and letters. So watch, okay? Here's where it gets confusing because this is right. It says the input gear must turn 5 times. The input gear must turn 5 times to the output gears once. Doesn't make sense, right? Because we got 5 and 1. They're opposite. Here's why it's opposite. Right here, we are talking number of teeth on the gear, the size of the gear. Here in the explanation, we're going to talk how many times they spin. Remember, which one of these spins faster? The small one spins faster, right? Little tiny gear, got a big gear spinning it. The small one's going to spin faster, right? So here's what I tell kids to do. This works really well. Okay, so I had to pause for a minute there. Don't remember exactly where I was at, but here's what I was saying was because when we figure this ratio out, we are talking the size of the gears. Now in this explanation, we want to talk how many times they spin. So remember, the little gear spins a whole lot faster. So here's what I do. I take arrows, I crisscross these, I put the 1 over here, I put the 5 over here. Now my output spins 1 time, my input spins 5 times. So on the explanation, all I need you to write is output equals 1 time, because it spins 1 time. Input spins 5 times. That would be that little box that says explanation. Rather than this whole big wordy thing they wrote, that's all you would need to write. And I think you can see that. Maybe I move this a little bit. We got a little bit of a glare. Okay, so let's do the second one together too. And then I'm going to leave you to do the other 2 on your own. Okay, so the next one. Oh, didn't erase that. Output, input, right? Output comes first. I'm going to save myself some space there. I'm used to writing this on a big board. Output and input. So our output has how many teeth? This is where in class, hopefully you would speak up and say, Mr. Wakefield, the output has 4 teeth. So we have 4 to the input says 36. So once again, just like a fraction, we can reduce this. 4 goes into 4, obviously 1 time. 4 goes into 36, 8 times. So our gear ratio is 1 to 8. Now, you think about this. You tell me, even though it's a video and I can't hear you, is this increasing speed or torque? I'll give you a second to think about it. Look at rule number 2. Oh, hopefully you're going, hey, Mr. Wakefield, it's increasing speed because if the first number is bigger, we increase torque. So we are increasing speed by 8 times. So if this was your bike, that would mean if you pedaled 1 time around, that back tire is spinning 8 times. That is picking up some major speed, right? We're flying. Okay, so you've got 1 to 8 for your gear ratio. and show your work. Go 4 to 36 and 1 to 8, right in the box. Okay. Now, your explanation. First, let's figure out, we just said it. What increases? We said speed increases because if the first number is bigger, you increase torque. The first number is not bigger. So we are increasing speed. So you go, speed goes up, torque goes down. Now, how many times do they spin? Just like I said before, this is confusing because it's opposite. So rather than get confused, just flip-flop the numbers. We got an 8 over here, we got a 1 over here. So our output spins 8 times, our input spins 1 time. So you would write output equals 8 times input equals 1 time. Okay? So that is your whole explanation. Now, I'm going to leave you to finish these next two on your own. Please be honest, a little academic honesty here. I'm going to give you the answers anyways. So do it, put in the effort, try to do them, see if you understand how to do this. Then when I come back on, I think next time, I might put the rest of the video on today, but I think I'm going to give it to you next time. Do this in chunks. Fill these out. Next time I will give you the answers to these and see if you did it right. All right. Good luck, gang. Get those last two gear ratios right.